Now I would invite over Ms. Ruchika to do the honors. Over to you, Ruchika. It's nice seeing you, and have a good evening, everybody else.
Yeah, same here, Tripti. Thank you. Thank you so much. I would like to introduce our keynote speaker, Mr. Vinay Krishna. He began his career in the year 2000 as a programmer in Microsoft technology and gradually evolved to polyglot programmer and became a firm believer of software craftsman. Since 2006, he has been an agile practitioner using agile and lean values and principles and adopted practices of Scrum, XP, TDD, BDD, refactoring, clean code, continuous integration, continuous delivery, and DevOps. Over the past decades, he has led many large-scale digital transformations at various product companies. He is also the founder and CEO of Ledgerify IT Solutions, founder and director technology of Pingala Software, founder of Technical Agility Institute, and creator of Technical Agility Conference Stack. His hard work and talent has helped build Pingala Software from 0 to 40 plus team members and maintain an average 100% annual growth rate without outside investment. He believes in agility, entrepreneurship, servant leadership, startups, build right product right and on time, fail fast, and the importance of fundamentals in business, such as giving the customer value, working with team, listening, empathy, empowering, and transparency. He has authored more than 10 papers published in various international journals and conference proceedings. 2 of his papers have even been translated in Chinese language by Scrum Network at China. In 2014, he won the IT Innovation Award from Computer Society of India, CSI. He believes in spreading knowledge and has been giving tech talks or guest lectures at prestigious engineering colleges, universities, and different organizations. He has served as a guest professor at BITS Pilani and Manipal University, teaching master's students. I'm looking forward to hearing his views on securing privacy and emerging technologies. Over to you, Mr. Vinay Krishna.
Thanks, Ruchika. Thanks for nice introduction. Is it possible to share my screen? Yeah, okay, fine. Let me just do that. Okay. Hello, everyone. And thank you. Thanks for nice introduction, Ruchika. And I'm really privileged to be part of this prestigious conference, India Data Protection Summit. I would like to congratulate all the organizers and sponsors, everyone behind this, making this really successful. Already the day 1 had passed, day 2 is already almost we have completed. And I'm able to see that lots of knowledge is floating over here. And I know lots of experts are already there who has talked about the privacy part, emerging technologies and all. So, yep, I am going to little bit overlap with those talks, but yes, of course, I will try to see, I will be able to reflect my views on that. So today I'm going to talk about securing privacy and emerging technologies. Okay, so if you look at right now, whether we are an individual or enterprise, we are any gender, any age, whether I'm a kid or I'm having a aged person, right? We all are having lots of, we are living in 2 worlds basically, right? One is our real world and another one is digital world. The moment we are getting into the digital world, gradually over the period of time, we are seeing the way we are using that. We are having lots of information data, which is related to our own, is there. The moment the data is there, it is having lots of information, which is sensitive, which could be like having lots of privacy required in that case, right? And that's where we are talking about, do we need online privacy and how we can protect our data and many things. When the world was simple, it was easy. And when we have started growing on the digital part, we started getting more and more. And over like how the technology is getting advanced, right? It is getting more and more complicated in that case. There is 2 parts of technology. Again, when I'm talking about, there are those technology are getting evolved, and we have to also look at how we can maintain the privacy part. There is another world where the technology is getting advanced and all our those people who wants to get the data is also getting more advanced in that case, right? So we have to see that from our part, how and what we have to do in that case, and how the technology is going to support and how the technology is getting evolved and what we need to do there, right? Okay, that's an interesting thing that I have seen yesterday only. I was in one building, which is quite high rise building. And I have seen that if you look at this is nothing but glass, right? So wherever there is a like an open area, those glass boundaries will be there, right? And one of the glass wall is completely, if you look at, it's tempered. And I was quite curious and I asked them, what is that? Is it happened recently? The housekeeping person has told that no, it's quite okay, because it's not recently it happened. It is from the ages, and everybody knows that. Everybody means even the management knows, housekeeping and the people who are living there, they know that. So how they have protected that, they have put some kind of like a tape there, and they are feeling like everything is fine. Can we correlate? So if you look at in our enterprise or as an individual also, it's a similar situation, and we feel like, okay, fine, it's part of life. And once the incident will happen, then we will see that, right? Nothing is happening from so long, nothing happened. So it's going to be in the same situation. So sometimes I use that word like, okay, are you prepared for the incident to be happen, or you are waiting for that incident to happen, right? And that is very much important for everyone who are here, right? Because whenever we go and talk lots of enterprises, we see that, okay, it's fine, everything, right? We are quite protected, right? But it could be a perception only, right? This protection could be on the similar way, right? So needless to say, if you look at that protection, what we were having, if anything will happen, the loss could be huge, and we have not to repeat that, because as a data protection, or maybe from this industry where we are talking about like data security, data privacy, we know that what is the loss can happen, whether at the individual level or whether it is like an enterprise level. So let's look at the role of emergent technologies. But before that, again, I just wanted to use some just to make people more aware, because you are hearing from long lectures, right? So let's look at some of the pictures which will help us to set the context better. I have seen many times when we have to, if you look at this picture, what is happening here, right? They are struggling, right? But still they are okay. Why? Because they are too busy and they are not ready for the new technology, new innovations, which is there waiting and making their life easier. We still feel like we are okay with that, or maybe we are busy with that. There is two parts. One is like either we are part of problem and we are in the comfort zone where we don't want to change ourselves, right? And something new comes and we always feel like, okay, yes, this is fine, but we are quite okay, or we are doing lots of major already, so we don't need that, right? So we have to basically, with this picture, what I want to convey, if any new thing comes, it's very hard to accommodate that or adapt that, right? But it's always good to see that what are the alternatives coming up, what makes our life easier. The second one, if you look at, the moment we say that how many of we want this kind of change, we all say that yes, we want. Maybe you have seen this picture earlier also, but let's look at the another perspective. Who wants to change, right? All hands are down. And who wants to lead the change, right? So this happens quite often when I go, I talk, and I try to look at from the technology perspective, different organizations, also enterprises, right? We see that the change is very hard. though it looks like it's constant, but it's very hard. So from the emergent technology side, right, the first thing which I would like to highlight here is data localization and security. That is very important nowadays. Why? Because due to the infrastructure that we have right now and the way we are using it, it is becoming a borderless. And when it is going to be a borderless, it's many a country policies, what we were just talking about before this. I just heard a couple of things from there. It is very difficult because each country will have their own policy and that we need to maintain. And in order to do that, or we have to adhere to those policies also. So how we can make sure that the data localization is not getting breached, and we are also able to maintain the security also, right? That we need to understand. When we are talking about cloud kind of infrastructure, where your data can be at any part of the world, how we can maintain that way, that is also important, and that we need to think from that perspective. And if it is not possible to maintain local, right, how we can maintain the security. If it is possible to maintain in the local also, how we will be able to maintain security at that perspective also. That is very, very important. And somehow what happens, we are able to see that it's quite evident. If we have not thought from the beginning, it's going to be very difficult when that kind of policies are going to come, and how we are going to adhere to those things. So we have to think from that perspective as well when we are going to utilize all those kind of applications, when it is going to be globally used, and we are getting that data also from one part to another part, right? So that is another thing which I thought I will be able to touch upon. The second part which I would like to talk about, which is very important, that what privacy enhancing computation techniques are available and how we are going to adopt that. That is also very important, because at this moment, the data is growing enormously. And again, as I told you, from the different part of the globe, we are going to get that. Earlier, if you look at, like, it was just like a client-based data, now client server, when we are talking about like in the public cloud and all those places, when we were talking about the data, which is not only the structure but unstructured, we have to look at how we can utilize this privacy enhancing computation techniques to make sure the data is getting more secure in that case. So the part of data which is having a private sensitive data, what needs to be done there? We were talking about like a pseudonymization or anonymization or something, any other technique that needs to be applied and all, right? So there are multiple options available now, and we have to see that how we can be able to apply that in our those kind of data where we are doing lots of analysis, lots of processing is there, right? How we can ensure that when the data is passing from one place to another, we are making sure that the privacy of those data is still intact and not been compromised. That is very, very important. And these two, whatever I have just talked about, like the first one, data localization, and their security, privacy enhancing computation techniques, those are going to be in future playing a big role in that case. Like the more and more the year will pass, we will see that the different kind of like regulations are coming up to make sure that those data privacies are getting intact in that case, right? So from now only, if you can look at what needs to be done to make sure at our end the data is getting more secured in that case, whenever we are communicating across the region and the country also. And the third one is AI governance. When the AI has started evolving, right? So that requires lots of data. And if you look at, like, when we say that train the model, what does it mean? The model requires lots of data to get it trained. And at that moment, how we will be able to maintain and manage the privacy of that data also, or that we will be able to make the data secure at that moment, that we need to think about. Because what we are trying to do at this moment with the AI, we are trying to give the better service to the user, but at the same time we are also tracking lots of how that user behavior is, how that user likes are, and based upon that it is going to compute, it is going to make the product much better. But at the same time, on the backend side, if you look at, the data is playing a major role in that case to making those decisions. And how at that moment we are able to apply those data security and privacy is really a big question. If you ask me, still people are working on that, right? On the technology side, there are lots of new products are coming to maintain that. But still, if you look at initially, maybe that could have been overlooked. And later, if we have to do that, that will be little late. And that's the reason we have to see that what are the different alternatives available to make sure that these things are intact in that case, and we are not doing anything which is not so good. Okay. So popular and vulnerable. So why I have used that word, like if you look at any application right now, we say that it's very popular, but at the same time, it's very much vulnerable also. And you take any example, like any chat application that we use. Is it very popular? Yes. Is it vulnerable? Yes. We use that. That's also the case. Do we have alternatives? That could be. There could be alternatives also. Do we use that? No. Now, the thing is, we may debate like maybe it's not so, usability is not so good, or UX is not so great, and all those things, right? But when we are at the enterprise level, can we adapt those kind of solutions, which may not be popular, but they are not vulnerable? We have to think about. And that's the reason I was talking about initially, that how we will be able to adapt the change, right? Like we have to accept that disruptive innovations. Initially, it may be possible that we are that much in use, we will not be able to accept those innovations. But at some point of time, when we are talking about like a data protection, we have to think about that. Secured communication platform, right? Do we have the secured communication platform? And if somebody is saying that it's a secure communication platform, do we understand that? End-to-end encryption, when we are talking about, is it giving an end-to-end encryption of the data, or it is just like a point-to-point that connections, right? That we need to understand. We have to look at out of those communication, the internal communication, right? Where we have to, at one point of time, we have to say no to traditional email protocols. I'm talking about from the email side, right? From the text side also, like chat side also, we have to look at. But if you look at that formal way of communication, like traditional email protocols, at some point of time, we have to say, at least for the internal, because internal communication, you don't need exactly like SMTP and all. It's a mandatory. You need to have email kind of application, and that could be like not using any traditional email protocols, right? It's very hard, I will tell you, because we have I'm telling from my perspective, because I have seen, it's not like we have built, but there are some of the organization also, some other products are also available in the similar platform. But what we have done is we have not used any traditional email protocols. And yes, it's not easy to accept it. So acceptance, we are seeing very low, though the product is quite good in that case, right? For external communication also, if the wider acceptance is coming for the new communication protocols and solutions, it will be much better. And at least at the enterprise level, we have to start accepting at least those people who understand this particular domain quite well. We have to look at how we can adopt those things so that it will be better for everyone. And I'm not talking about just from the individual perspective, like a B2C, but just enterprise level of solutions also, right? I will give you one more example, like in case of email, because that's one of the favorite topic for me. How many times you feel like all the employees actually required to interact with the outside world. But we are giving them an email ID through which they can send an email to outside and can receive from the outside also. And after that, we are saying that, okay, let's try to secure that by looking at like how we can avoid the phishing attack. And we are trying to educate them. It's just like we have that is scattered like tempered glass, and we are putting some kind of tape and saying that, okay, fine, no one will go near to that place. Let's educate everybody, right? But actually we have given that kind of tool which already is vulnerable completely. So my point here is like, okay, why we are using that kind of protocols which is vulnerable already, and we know that since we were not having that solutions available, but now there are multiple different kind of solutions are coming up in the market. We have to see that which can be adopt easily. Same way for the external. At one point of time when we will be start accepting that kind of tool, probably it will be easy for everyone to make sure that even the data which is there in the email is quite secure, right? The another one is like when we are doing a secure data transfer, we have to look at what are the different alternatives available, like a pseudonymization. That is one of the best which I felt. Anonymization is also there, and polymorphic based also available there. And we have to find out how, without changing a new, you can say like, suppose we are using for our data processing, analyzing and all that, already proven applications are there which we have developed, and it is giving the that desired and expected result. So we are not saying that we have to change that. Only thing is what we have to do is on the top of that, whenever the data is moving from their system to another system, can we apply this, right? And make sure that the data privacy part is getting secured, and then we can send that data to anyone, right? If we know that the data privacy is completely pseudonymized, we can share that data with anyone, right? There is nothing like we will be having any kind of worry that there is a data leak. And once that situation is there, you just imagine right now, we are always getting worried that what will happen if the data is getting leaked out, right? That I'm not saying that will be 100% solution, but at least the 95 to 99%, yes, the problem will be solved, unless that is not getting tracked at the source itself, right? And there also, if we will do a combination of pseudonymization, anonymization, or polymorphic, right? We can get a much better digital world, right? So that is something I felt like we have to look at what is the technical technologies evolutions are happening. And I am seeing that yes, there is happening a lot, happening in two ways. One is where we are talking about nowadays metaverse. We are talking about Web3. From Web2 to Web3 we are going on. We keep hearing about that. We are talking about like more bigger and better digital world, right? And at the same time and supporting lots of different technologies on that line. We are talking about AR, VR and all those things, even though AI, ML and robotics and all. But at the same time, if you look at, there is another part where we are talking about all these kind of solutions, which is making sure that with the evolution of those technologies, the data is still going to be secured. And what we have to do a perfect marry of these two parts, that technology evolution that we cannot, we have to be part of that. At the same time, those technology innovations, which is making sure those new evolution in a more secure way. And that is the only way we can make our digital world more secure, right? I'm not sure what is the format of this one. I have just kept 3-4 minutes for any question and answer if it is there. Otherwise, yeah, I'm almost done. The whole purpose of this entire evaluation or revolution is that we should build our secure digital world, which we deserve. So Ruchika, is there any way we can take the questions or?
Ruchika, are you there? Hi, Vinay.
Hi, Ramesh.
Yeah, Ruchika is coming. Yeah.
Yes, sir. I'm here, sir.
Yeah, go ahead. So I think Mr. Vinay, right now I'm not able to see any questions per se.
Okay. Okay.
We will wait probably for 2 minutes. Yeah, Ruchika, in case if there is any question from the audience,
Sure, sir.
which normally would get posted over here. Maybe Mr. Vinay, and as we discussed earlier too,
Yeah.
for the benefit of the audience, I would like to request you to look at the iBentas Resource Center, where there is a kind of a discussion had happened between me and Mr. Vinay, wherein he has clarified many of the features of the product, what he was talking about in detail. Kindly have a look at it. If it's, I'm sure that it would have created lots of interest in your minds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. And I would also like to ask all the participants, like if they have time, they can come to our exhibition stall also, which is there in this
Right.
summit. So
Absolutely.
you can get some information, and if you have any question, queries, you can write to us there.
Right.
I think your share screen can be unshared.
Yeah, you can unshare it. Stop sharing rather, Mr. Vinay.
Okay.
Yeah, great.
Okay.
Yeah, Vinay, I have got a small question.
Yep.
Okay. So this ledger fee solution, which is an email solution both for communication within the organization and also from the organization to an outside person. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, this particular server which serves this can be kept inside the computer, company itself?
Yeah. Yes, definitely. So I will tell you.
Now,
We
can
always-
a solution like this be adopted for the requirements of a government agency? Because Indian government say wants to shift from Gmail. Can they put up a server at the NIC level and put all intergovernment accounts communicate through this server?
Yes, 100%. So I will tell you that our suggestion always is for the enterprise or the government agencies also, that
Okay.
you should own your own data.
Okay.
Right. So that you can just do it with your on premise, and you can just set up host everything.
And
on it.
last small question. If an outside person has got a different email ID, is it necessary to import that email ID into your system, or he can continue with his own email ID?
So email ID for us, it's just an user ID. It's not like actual email ID, right? Yeah.
Fine. So the government agency, if they are using, say, at MIT or something like that, they can continue to use that, and
Yes.
they can still come into it. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I think the next speaker is ready.
Okay, fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for giving this opportunity. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Great, Vinay sir. Thank you very much. And